In this video, I'm going to talk about depression. Let's roll the intro. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Aspie world. I'm Dan, I have Aspergers Syndrome, OCD, ADHD and dyslexia. I make weekly videos on autism and mental health, so consider subscribing to learn more. Being on the autism spectrum, I'm no stranger to depression, and in fact depression actually affects 1 in 4 people in the UK and impacts the lives of 300 million people in the world. Depression is the most common mental health issue in all of the world, and it affects so many people. So I wanted to do this video to kind of show you guys an insight from an Aspergers Syndrome perspective, how depression actually kicks my ass sometimes. So having a diagnosis of Aspergers Syndrome, which is part of an autism spectrum disorder, you experience depression and it hits you in waves, you know, so that it's motivational dips. So 1 minute you'll be like super motivated, and then the next minute you'll just dip down to completely nothing. You'll be like totally happy and everything's fine, and then the next thing you'll be like completely unmotivated, you can't move, you can't even get out of bed, and it's crazy. So here's my story. So last week I decided I was going to make a video. I needed to make a video for the weekly video because I upload on a regular basis, and I was like, right, I'll sit down and do a video. So I sat down on the Monday and I sat at my desk and I was like, okay, let's plan out this video. So I sat there and the dog started yapping and he started barking. And then I lost a little bit of control over what I was trying to do, and I was like, the dog wouldn't shut up, and I was like, oh my goodness. So I put him outside of the room, and then he was still kind of, I don't know, he was just yapping. He's like a Jack Russell, so he just yaps at everything. And so then I tried to sit down and focus. So I had this overwhelming funk kind of come over me where it instantly made me feel like super upset. Like, I don't know, I was almost close to tears. I didn't know what the heck was going on. I couldn't focus on my work. I could definitely not plan out a video. Oh man, you know, I just feel like absolute, I don't know what's going on. It was almost like everything was just too much, and I didn't want to reply to anybody on my social media, which I do quite often. I reply to everybody on social media, but I didn't at this time. I couldn't talk, like, you know, the people I was messaging, I couldn't message people back on any social media, and then I just couldn't do anything, and I felt overwhelmingly sad, like super sad, and I didn't know what to do, and my body physically was like, no, you know, just no. So I went upstairs and then I laid on the bed for a bit, and then I was like, oh my god, you know, I just feel like absolute crap, and it was horrible. So then this followed by, I tried to go to sleep, but then I couldn't sleep. I was tossing and turning and not being able to actually sleep, and I was like, what the heck is going on? And then I couldn't sleep, and then obviously I was getting up super tired, but with no motivation, lack of energy. Now when this happens, you not only lose your motivation for projects and things that you do kind of daily life, you lose motivation across the board. You just lose all motivation. So I got up and I was like, I don't even want to get dressed. I didn't want to put clothes on, you know. You just don't want to get out of bed, but you have to because it's morning and things have to happen. And so you get out of bed and you just sit there, and you sit there in a slump, like, you know. And I remember I just sat there in a slump watching, just put anything on Netflix just to kind of, you know, think, okay, how can I kickstart my day? And it was just the worst. It was just the worst ever, because didn't want to watch what was on the TV, didn't know what the hell was going on. What I really wanted to do was make videos. You want to do the things, but you can't help feeling overwhelmingly down. Again, this follows a trend where, so you're depressed and you get hungry and you're like, okay, I'm gonna make some food, and you feel hungry, but you have no motivation to make food, and nothing tastes good. Like, you don't fancy anything. So normally you'd be like, oh, you know, I really fancy this sandwich, but you're like, I'm hungry, but I don't fancy anything. And so you end up just like skipping meals. But when you skip the meals, then your body's like, hey, you need to eat something, and it'll make you crave highly calorific foods like junk food, stuff that's no good for you. And this just causes a bit of a cycle of depression. You kind of get lost in that world of eating bad and feeling bad, and nothing ever gets better than that. And that's like one of the main things that really, you know, gets to me with depression. Okay, and then a few days go by and you still have not made any videos. You're feeling bad because you haven't done the videos. You haven't replied to all these people. All this stuff is building up, and you still feel like crap. And you have zero motivation, and it's crazy. I don't take any medication, so I wasn't taking any medication for this, and I really wanted to get out of this funk. And the only way that I could feel like I'd get out of this funk is if I switched off all media, so detach myself from all media, stop watching TV, and then go out there and have a run. So I went out for a run. So I like to run, I like to keep fit and exercise. So I went out for a run, and as I was out running, my legs just kind of stopped. My body physically was just like not doing it. It was just like no, and it felt completely tired. My knees seized up. I mean, normally I can run for 2.2, 2.3, maybe 3 miles on a full stretch and think nothing of it, but this particular time I ran about 1/4 of a mile, if that. And my body was just like, no, you can't do this. And then I kind of like walked home, and I'd never felt so sore. It's like my whole life just came to this grinding halt, and it was horrible. And not only that, it's like you just don't want to go out of the house. You don't want to go out and see people because you don't want to interact with people. You know, you don't want to go out. You're scared of people knocking the door. You're scared of like stuff going through the letterbox. It's really weird. It's really all messed up stuff. Now, depression can have triggers, and so like I said, I'll be like really super happy and then really super low. And I think depression can have triggers, and triggers can come from anywhere. It could be a situation that you're not familiar with or you're not too happy with. It could be just a state of mind. It could be anything, right? And this just happened to be a really bad time, and it was just horrible. I don't like feeling like this because I feel like I'm super motivated all the time. So I decided to focus, really try and focus on making videos. So the video I was trying to make on the time when I actually got depressed, I ended up filming the video a few days after that, and actually just persevering and pushing myself through actually doing the video really helped, because then it got me into editing, and I love editing videos. And when I started to edit, I started to become more motivated. And when you just have a little bit of seed of motivation, and then it'll just kind of spiral into this lovely cascade of motivation to get you more focused, get you more out of the depression. And I feel like that's what kind of helped me. But it doesn't work every single time. I'm just telling you that this is what happened this time. But depression is really horrible. It's something that I don't wish anyone to have. It damages you because you know that you are feeling down, and you know that you could be feeling way better. So this affects you, and it makes it worse in some cases. And I know a lot of people suffer from it. I hope you enjoyed my little story and my insight here to what I did and how I was with depression when it happened to me last week. But right now I'm feeling pretty positive. I'm feeling pretty good. And my channel's at like 24,800 subscribers, which is amazing. I love every single one of you guys. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. Leave me a comment because I read every single one and I reply to every single one. Roll that outro.